all of this national media, and I did hundreds of interviews on radio all across this country and newspapers, and I thought with all of this publicity that there would be sheriffs and police chiefs all across this state that would stand up and say the same thing that I did and stand up for their oath and the citizens that they work for. But at first that didn't happen, other than a couple. And I couldn't figure out why. Why aren't they standing up? They took the same oath, they've read the same document, I assume. Why aren't they doing it? And the only thing I could come up with is that we're all pretty much a product of the public school systems, right? And my parents were very patriotic. They taught us about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and to stand up for what's right. Even if you have to stand alone, you stand up for what's right and you don't back down. And so they taught us about our founding documents and our founding fathers and what it took to birth this nation, right? And so I needed to get the information that was in my head out to the public servants and to the citizens so they could put pressure on their public servants to get them to stand up. So I decided that I needed to write a book. And I'd never written a book before, didn't know how to get a book published, so I called a friend of mine who was an author, and I asked her how to do it. And she said, well, Loren, if you'll write a book, I'll publish it, because I just started my own publishing company a few weeks ago. And I said, this was the end of November, and I said, okay, well, I've got some vacation, and around Christmas I got some time off. I'm going to write this book in December. And she kind of chuckled at me. She said, well, Loren, most people take 6 months to a year to write a book. And I said, well, I don't have that much time. I need to get it done. And so the month of December in 2018, I wrote a book called American Cop. Some of you read it. Excellent. And I talked about our rights. I talked about our liberties and where they come from, which is from God. The government is instituted to protect our rights. American Cop was published on President's Day of 2019, and it shot to #1 on Amazon in 3 different categories. And then it was the #1 book on the Hot 100 New Books list for over 3 weeks on Amazon. It was absolutely incredible. Then what started happening is I started getting invited to speak at events. The Republican Party invited me to speak at several Lincoln Day dinners, and I went to gun shows and sportsman shows all across the state, mostly on the west side, speaking about our rights, speaking about our responsibilities and what public servants should do, and the responsibility of citizens to put pressure on them. And as it went into spring, more and more people had read my book, and they'd come out and heard me speak, and people started asking me to please run for governor. And at first I kind of dismissed it. I've never in my wildest dreams did I want to be a politician, because I don't trust most of them.